At this hour, over 70 matriculants on Gauteng's West Rand have been rushed to hospital following suspected food poisoning. The learners, aged between 17 and 20 years, were part of a matric camp at Fochville Secondary School. They were rushed to different health facilities after they showed similar symptoms of stomach cramps and diarrhea. The department says all the learners are in a stable condition and they are monitoring the situation. Recently, 5 children lost their lives due to suspected food poisoning in Naledi, Soweto. For more on this, we're joined by the spokesperson for the Gauteng Health Department, Motalatale Modiba. Motalatale, very good afternoon to you. Thanks very much for your time. What do we know?
What we know is that we have about 74 grade 12 female learners who were on a matric camp at one of the schools in Fochville. In particular, they were at the Fochville Secondary School. They came from 3 different schools. You know that we are currently now in the matric writing exam season. So they were on a matric camp, and I think they ate, from what we are gathering, is that they ate a meal, and after that, in the morning at around 9, they all started experiencing similar symptoms of stomach cramps and diarrhea. So they were then taken to two local clinics where, after assessment, they were then referred to be rushed to the Carltonville Hospital. At the Carltonville Hospital, 73 were then treated there, and then 1 was taken to a private facility. In fact, 1 never arrived there, but they went straight to a private facility. They were stabilized. Fortunately, none of them was critical. And in fact, when I spoke to the CEO just some couple of minutes ago, he was saying that they are currently preparing to start releasing the learners so that they can be transported back home to fully recover, because they do not necessarily need to be admitted. We'll get an update, I suppose, in an hour's time in terms of the condition of the rest of the learners.
So they are out of danger?
They are out of danger from the look of things.
Now, has the school said anything about what could have happened?
They accept that from the reports that we're getting from the educators, is that they ate a particular meal, I think some rice, some coleslaw. I'm not sure whether they ate it last night or it was something that they ate in the morning, because the incident from when they were presenting at our facilities, we've got the time of 9 in the morning. That's when they started presenting with all these different symptoms, and then they were rushed to healthcare facilities. So I suppose that some of the details is something that will still be gathered from the education, from the educators, in terms of who would have prepared the food, what service provider they were using, and all of those things. So, but I think what we do know is that they ate a common meal, basically.
Of course, this is happening, days after 5 children lost their lives due to suspected food poisoning.
Yeah, I think this is becoming quite for us as the health department. We've raised an alarm. You remember that in September we did raise an alarm around that we are seeing an increase in this type of cases. If I'm not mistaken, I think if we include the recent incidents now, including today's one, we are sitting at about over 280 incidents that have been reported. And if you look at the fatalities from that, you're sitting at I think around 15 fatalities that came out of this incident. It is concerning. It's something that we've been engaging also the local authorities, your municipalities, because in terms of the law, they are responsible for implementing the Environmental Health Act in terms of issuing of fines, in terms of inspecting these various facilities that we have. So it's a multifaceted problem, because on the one hand, it's a question of establishment that sell food and all of those things. On the other hand, like the incident that we're talking about now, it's a different matter altogether. It's not that they went to a particular establishment to buy food. They ate at a particular place. It's just how the food was prepared. And I think we can never raise enough awareness to say the issue around food preparation is quite important, both at home and even at establishments. And even the issue around the handling of food is quite critical, because we're seeing that we're living in an environment now which is rife with germs, bacteria, and all of those things. So we need to always take extra precautions in terms of the handling of food, in terms of the preparation of food, but also in our homes, how we utilize your pest control measures. Sometimes we use all these different chemicals that end up causing a danger to our very loved ones. I mean, you would know that in some of the incidents that we've had, the outcome of the test would have shown that there has been your organophosphate and all of those. That points to the usage of pesticides, and these things are meant to be very lethal, and sometimes they're not applied correctly.
Any updates? Well, what's the latest, perhaps I should say, on the 5 children who in Naledi?
On the 5 children, I think the city of Joburg, in particular the MMC for Health, did give some updates to say, obviously they are investigating the matter. The police are also investigating. So the outcomes of the toxicology reports and all of those things, we'll only know once the police have concluded their work in terms of what is seen. What we know now is just what we suspect could have been the problem, given the report that was given of what the children would have eaten prior to that. I know that from the Gauteng provincial government, I think the Department of Education and other departments have gone to the family, to the various families, to offer psychosocial support and to see what other support can they be given at this time. But what is, I think, most critical is to continue educating the public, educating those that are running these establishments, to say, for the sake of our children, for the sake of our own safety, can we comply? Can we ensure that our spaces that we keep are also clear? And I think even the issues around what you call around our own environment, where there's illegal dumping, which is rife, which ends up also creating an environment where the issue of rodent infestation becomes quite critical. I think it's important that we also have those conversations, because I think there's a role for the authorities, as in government, to play a particular role in terms of clamping down as well on establishments that don't comply. But there's also a role that you and I must play as citizens in terms of securing our own children, but also in terms of ensuring that we don't encourage environments where illegal dumping becomes the norm, because it's got long-term environmental and health consequences.
Motalatale Modiba, thank you very much for your time. Over 70 matriculants on Gauteng's West Rand were rushed to hospital following suspected food poisoning. But as the spokesperson of the Health Department in Gauteng says, they are out of danger on their way to their homes.